Kyudo arose from Japanese archery, which has roots going back to ancient times, long before the rise of the samurai. The Empress Jingu, who is said to have ruled almost 2,000 years ago, is depicted here holding a bow, an indication of its importance in Japanese cultural history. As the warrior class emerged, the bow developed along with it. Originally, it was a rough-hewn stick of wood, as illustrated here. By the 1100s, the bow had undergone a transformation into a layered bamboo bow, often lacquered and bound to protect it from the elements. In its now classic form, the Japanese bow was used by both civilians and samurai warriors. It could also be used from horseback, and eventually the bow and the horse became the identifying badge of the samurai. Archers and archery skills became the stuff of legend, and to this day, some of the great archers of hundreds of years ago are still celebrated and written about. In this print, Nasu no Yoichi confronts Taira ships at the Battle of Yashima, claiming victory by shooting a fan off the top of the mast of the flagship. During the Tokugawa and Meiji periods, 1600 to the late 1800s, archery found peaceful applications as a hobby in competitions and as a vehicle for spiritual development. The temple of Sanjusan Gendo in Kyoto was famous for its archery competition, the Toshiya, in which archers shot at a target 120 meters away on the veranda of the temple. Today, Kyudo remains popular and has spread around the world. Enthusiasts may practice individually in small backyard dojo or in groups. Clubs and organizations have cropped up around the world, including here in Arizona. Higher-ranking sensei have helped spread Kyudo by offering training and seminars, both locally and internationally. And some international gatherings draw large numbers of people, such as this one in South Carolina that had more than 100 participants from countries in North America and South America. Besides daily practice and lessons, there's also social activity within Kyudo, such as this New Year's tournament, in which the archer won by being the first to hit a small target from a long distance. Those who practice Kyudo share their art through educational outreach and demonstrations, as Arizona groups have done for years at the Matsuri festivals. But the main reason for the spread of Kyudo is that we have fun. The primary components for Kyudo are, of course, bows and arrows. The Japanese bow is unusually long and off-center. Notice that the grip is not in the middle of the bow, but about a third of the way up from the bottom. This is what allows it to be an effective weapon from horseback. Also, notice the length of the arrow. Arrows are traditionally made of bamboo, but nowadays aluminum is also commonly used. The feathers the arrows are fletched with are much longer than their Western counterparts. And the old arrowheads used for warfare have been replaced by target points, very much like those on Western target arrows. A leather shooting glove is worn, and these gloves have a notch in the reinforced thumb to draw the bowstring with. Traditional clothing is worn for shooting. For most normal shooting, this consists of hakama and keiko-gi. But at higher ranks and in more formal situations, archers wear kimono. And of course, there needs to be a target to shoot at. Sometimes, especially indoors or when there is limited space, a short-range target called a makiwara is used. But the typical range is 28 meters, close to 100 feet, and targets are set in a formal shajo or target house. The targets used may vary in size and design. The larger one here is 36 centimeters, about 14 inches. Kyudo is ritualistic and includes different kinds of ceremonial forms. Meditative and spiritual practices are often incorporated. And the shooting form itself is highly standardized and detailed, and is based on an 8-step kata or form called the hasetsu. The draw starts by raising the bow up the center line of the body, and the energy is divided by pushing the bow with the left hand and pulling with the right hand. Note that the nock of the arrow is drawn to well behind the ear. Here's what a shot looks like.